from the NBC Montana studios, this is NBC Montana Today.
Good morning, Montana. I'm Jason Hurst. As you pour your coffee and make breakfast, let's get you informed and ready to take on your week. Coming up over the next half hour, if you spotted someone having a heart attack, would you know what to do to help save someone's life until first responders arrive? How timely CPR saved one Butte man's life. Plus, as the 20th century was coming to an end, Y2K created fear. In this week's Montana Moment, how one family adapted and their business that is going strong 26 years later and having a worldwide impact. And FWP issued a final environmental impact statement for the 2025 Wolf Management Plan, what it means moving forward.
Well, the time is at 6:30 this morning, and we are starting out with temperatures in our main valleys in the 40s. We've got scattered wet roadways, but rural roads still containing quite a bit of ice for us. This morning, wind has been breezy. Maybe you've noticed it. Gusts up to around 20 and 30 miles per hour. That's going to carry on for us throughout the day today. Live look at radar. We do have a couple isolated showers through the Bitterroot Valley, but the bulk of your Monday is going to be spent under dry skies. Here's your day planner for the Missoula area. 45 at noon, 47 at 2 p.m. Expecting our high today in the low 50s. For Bozeman, similar. You'll see some sunshine through about lunchtime, but once we get into the afternoon, clouds will increase. That's because we're tracking our next weather maker. It's going to bring lowering snow levels and a rain-snow mix. I'll tell you where we could have travel impacts in 10 minutes.
We begin our coverage with a potentially tragic update. Officials say recovery efforts are currently underway for missing 33-year-old Danette Ehrlich. A press release was sent out from the Missoula Police Department saying, quote, "It has been determined that Danette has likely drowned in the Clark Fork River. Officials' recovery efforts will continue as conditions allow it. While recovery efforts continue, officials are asking for the public's help in locating Danette's dog, Bamba, who is reportedly still missing. Anyone with any information regarding Bamba's whereabouts is being asked to contact the Missoula Police Department." February is American Heart Month, which means it's a great time to get educated on heart health and the signs that something is wrong. NBC Montana's Josh Margolis tells us how a man's life is saved due to timely intervention.
On a summer day last July, 73-year-old Ralph Borner felt shortness of breath while working out at the fitness courts.
Air quality index was between 150 and 160, so I thought maybe related to the old lung diseases.
A short time later in the locker room, the symptoms worsened, and as Borner grabbed his inhaler, he passed out and stopped breathing entirely.
And I lost consciousness, heartbeat, and breathing before I even hit the ground.
Borner experienced out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, which happens to over 350,000 people in the U.S. per year. Luckily, a couple of bystanders intervened, including a St. James nurse who provided initial CPR while first responders were on their way.
Police got there and brought an AED, was able to shock him once, didn't get him back, continued CPR, shocked him again, and then we were able to bring him back.
The only difference between a cardiac arrest and sudden cardiac death is someone around to rescue you. And they're going to need CPR skills and an AED.
Borner recovered after weeks in the hospital and now has a new lifelong friend in Allen.
I seen him at the gym and kind of wasn't sure what to say, and finally I went up to him and I was like, hey, and he took him a minute. He's like, oh, hey, and gave me a big ol' hug.
For more information on how to learn CPR and what signs to look for when it comes to potential heart issues, visit our website, NBCMontana.com. Reporting in Butte, Josh Margolis, NBC Montana.
Recently, Attorney General Austin Knudsen asked the Montana legislature to provide funding for an indoor firing range training facility for the Montana Law Enforcement Academy in Helena. This request is part of House Bill 5 and the Long Range Planning Committee.
I mean, obviously the biggest responsibility we give law enforcement officers, not just in Montana, but everywhere, is they have the authority to carry a gun and, if necessary, employ deadly force. So it really is incumbent on us to give them as good a training as we can. We've asked for a $10 million appropriation. The real expense in indoor shooting ranges is lead mitigation. We have to have really good negative airflow and HVAC to get all those fumes and all that lead particulate out of the air. That technology exists, but it's kind of pricey. So that's why the price tag.
MLEA is currently forced to rent space at an outdoor shooting range to conduct firearms training. Besides few increases in some areas such as rental fees and messy schedules, the most important challenge is for the students and staff who need to train during the winter months. MLEA provides a 12-week intensive course 3 times a year for all local, state, and tribal law enforcement officers. However, due to extreme cold weather of renting an outdoor facility, staff were forced to cut firearms training short numerous times.
Last winter, we had a class where the weather was so bad out there that those cadets only got 3 days of firearms training. So that's not ideal.
The current class of cadets this year will be the first to use a new state-of-the-art indoor facility. The new Brian E. Lockerbie Scenario Training Facility opened on the MLEA campus last year. This space will give cadets time to practice a number of scenarios that they'll face in the field, progressing their training and skills. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks issued a final environmental impact statement for the 2025 Wolf Management Plan. The environmental statement's draft was open to public comment last year, and FWP officials analyzed 2 alternatives to the final, including a no-action alternative and FWP's proposal to implement the 2025 Montana Gray Wolf Conservation and Management Plan. If the plan is approved, it would replace the 2003 Montana Wolf Conservation and Management Planning document. And here is a live look over Kalispell, where Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks is asking for the public's opinion on a nearly 53,000-acre conservation easement in northwest Montana. The easement would protect more than 50,000 acres of private timberlands. And the move would mark the second easement on land owned by the Green Diamond Resource Company in the area, bringing the total acreage to more than 85,000. An informational meeting will take place on March 5th at FWP's Kalispell office from 5:30 to 6:30. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte announced 130,000 forested acres have been placed in Department of Natural Resources and Conservation Management since he took office in 2021. In a statement, Gianforte said the DNRC demonstrates its commitment to safeguarding Montana forests, communities, and natural resources. Last year, DNRC increased state trust land annual timber sales, culminating in 220 million board feet sold since 2021. According to the governor's office, revenue from the state trust land timber projects benefits public schools in the state, generating approximately $374 per student. The University of Montana shares enrollment is up for the spring 2025 semester. Enrollment numbers released by the university show enrollment is up by 4.3%. According to the spring census, over 10,000 students are currently enrolled at the university, which is over 400 students stronger than this time last year. The current spring semester has over 700 new students, and nearly 70% of all students enrolled are Montana residents. And we now visit with Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster, who is standing by. And Brooke, with your help, we were able to kind of pinpoint some accuracy on some information. And we did get a call to inform us that Libby is in a 2-hour delay for all their public schools. And that also means that the bus schedule is now 2 hours behind, and it is all due to a power outage, according to their Facebook page. And Brooke does more than just weather. She is our researcher. She does it all. Kudos to Brooke. I mean, where would I be without you? Where would we all be, right?
You want more information? There's a tree in the line. That's what caused the power outage this morning in northwest Montana. Crews do hope to have that repaired shortly, of course. This morning, bus stop forecast, kiddos in Kalispell and Missoula. We do have wet roadways, and some of those rural roads still hanging on to some snow and ice, so there could be some isolated slick spots out there. As far as temperatures go, mild to start. 30s and 40s for us this morning. As we make our way into the afternoon, 40s and even the low 50s. Missoula expecting highs today in the mid to low 50s. We've got a weather maker that's going to lower snow levels. Details in 10 minutes.
Coming up, as the 20th century was coming to an end, Y2K created fear. In this week's Montana Moment, how one family adapted and their business that is going strong 26 years later and having a worldwide impact. Here is a live look from our Hellgate Plumbing weather camera above TV Mountain at Snowbowl. Chief Meteorologist Brooke Foster has your day planner right after the break.